It is so great to see you all. Welcome home. We are thrilled to see you. Happy 50 years. Congratulations to the class of 1975. You finally got your ticket to the best lunch in town. Welcome. Congratulations. So this group is really special to me. I actually worked for 10 years with Bud Chait on a board, the Simpson board. If you knew Barclay Simpson, it was his board. And Bud taught me a number of things about leadership and about stewardship and about fellowship. And this lunch really represents all of those things. Long before our defining leadership principles, you all were exhibiting these characteristics that we hold so dear here at Haas. You were searching out and learning new things. You were questioning the status quo. You were confident without attitude, and you've always led beyond yourselves. 50 years ago, you all graduated from Haas, some more than 50 years ago, but your connection to Haas has not ended. You've mentored our students, you've supported our programs, you've carried Haas with you everywhere that you went. And I really just want to start by saying thank you. Thank you. Your impact, your legacy, your spirit, it's woven into the fabric of everything that we do here at Haas. As Ellie said, I love teaching. I continue to love teaching. I just can't break away from our students. I love the classroom, and so I'm going to have to duck out a little bit early today because I have a class. So forgive my slightly early exit. But it is just such a joy and pleasure to see you all. And I couldn't miss the chance to spend some time with you and share what's happening here at Haas, because there's a lot. First off, I loved reading your answers to this year's questions. Again, it was, if you could go back and tell your college self one piece of advice, what would it be? And so many of you submitted incredible gems, really great pieces of advice. Here are a few. Michael Allgood, where's Michael? Michael's not here, but he sends this piece of wisdom. He says, experience as much as you can in the time you have. Don't rush, but don't waste precious time either. What a great piece of advice. And Linda Houserath, is Linda here? Linda, yeah. She gave us a master class in 4 bullet points. She should be in the classroom with me, right? She writes, as an urban economist and future owner of a consulting business, number 1, listen to your clients and understand their needs. Great idea. 2, do high-quality work that differentiates you. What an important life lesson. 3, work for clients in both the public and private sectors, supporting public policy. What a Berkeley message. And number 4, build expertise in areas of work that you enjoy and are good at. Thank you for those pearls of wisdom, Linda. And finally, David Dinkness, David, BS 75, he says, everything will be fine, don't buy insurance. Say, David, I appreciate the optimism, but I'm still buying insurance, okay? I live here in California, you know. Okay. So thank you all for your pearls of wisdom. If I could give advice to my younger self, what I think I would have said is stay open to new experiences and new opportunities, which later in my career I started to do, and actually it led me to this incredible job. So that's what I would think about. Okay, I've been dean for about 5 months now. I was interim dean before that. I was acting dean before that, every kind of dean. And it's been fast-paced and exciting. I could not be more optimistic for the Haas School's future and what we've got going. So let me give you a kind of lightning round on what's new here at Haas. My favorite thing to talk about, humble brag, well, without the humble, to be honest. Haas ranked number 3 in the Business Week rankings. The highest we've ever ranked is number 6. So number 3 is a huge deal for us, just behind, yeah, huge. Okay, right, there we go, exactly. We're just behind Wharton and Stanford. You know those schools are larger than us. They have very deep pockets. We're still going to get up there to number 1 one day. But this is a big deal for us. It really is in recognition of our program teams investing in the student experience, which has just continued to notch up every year. And I am grateful for our staff who have invested so deeply in the student experience. We continue to be blessed with just remarkably brilliant students coming to our school. Of course, our faculty are world-class rock stars in their fields, and so it's really kind of firing on all cylinders. We have 4 initiatives that we're focused on in the school. These are kind of our substantive areas of strategic focus, and they're interconnected. They are artificial intelligence, entrepreneurship, sustainability and social impact, and health. These are the 4 areas that we're focused on. They're not just buzzwords for us. We have deep expertise already in each of these areas, and we feel that each area presents important challenges, complicated problems, and huge opportunities for our students, faculty, and staff. I've asked our faculty to develop comprehensive strategic plans for each of the 4 areas that will prioritize our goals, that will integrate the themes across the school, and that will establish Haas as the place to come for each of these 4 domains. This really is about moving business forward, which is exactly what Haas is built to do. We fast-tracked an AI certificate that our MBA students can receive upon graduating in spring of 26. I know you don't usually associate fast track and UC Berkeley in the same sentence, but we kind of worked hard to make that happen. It was very important to be able to pivot. Our students have been experiencing really incredible employment outcomes, even though the market is very challenging at this moment. So these are for our MBA students. I can report that technology rebounded to become the #1 industry that our students go into. 39% of our MBA students go into technology, really fueled by the AI revolution. Consulting and financial services remain very strong, 27% for consulting, 16% for financial services. Our top employers include McKinsey, congratulations, Amazon, Adobe, and probably Google's in there too, I would guess. The median starting salaries for our MBA students, good thing you're sitting down, $167,250. Okay. Yeah, it's good. About 15% of our students have joined startups. 7% are starting their own companies. 16% of our students indicated that their roles have social or environmental impact, something we're very, very proud of. And here's a number that I'm really proud of. 86% of our students found full-time employment within 3 months of graduating, and right? And by now, the number is already up to 90%. So they are doing very, very well. This doesn't just reflect our students' talent, but also the strength of our curriculum, our ability to pivot on curriculum to provide students with the knowledge they need to be effective in today and tomorrow's future, and the power of the Haas network. And that is a tribute to all of you as well. On the philanthropy front, we're building incredible momentum. I'm really pleased to let you know that we just brought in a $10 million gift from an anonymous donor. Yeah, incredible. The gift comes with a bold vision to provide access to entrepreneurship to anyone. Here on the Haas campus, part of it is going to our entrepreneurship hub to build programs there. Our entrepreneurship hub, just 2 doors down from the school, is open to the entire UC Berkeley campus, right? We are the campus that is known for the most venture-backed startups in the entire country, right? We're #1 for the past 3 years in that statistic. It's incredible. And the Haas School wants to continue to play a pivotal role in fueling that entrepreneurial spirit and helping our students develop those skills. We also received a lovely $1 million gift from the Bushala family, Al and Miad. We were able to rebuild and redesign our undergraduate school commons. It's quite beautiful. If you have a chance to stop by on your way out, it's really lovely, and the students are already using it heartily. These investments are all about opening doors and creating opportunities for everyone. That is the Haas spirit in action. And so today I'm grateful for the many generous donors in this very room. Your support fuels our progress. It supports our students. Your planned gifts are securing a vibrant future for the school, for these incredibly brilliant students. Thank you for all that you do. Incredible. So our alumni community continues to grow both in scale and impact. Last year, our volunteer leaders held over 175 Haas alumni events worldwide. I'm trying to get to as many of those as I can. We've added 2 new alumni communities, the Somos Haas alumni, which is our Latinx alumni affinity group. And I was just down in Austin, Texas. We have a brand new Austin alumni chapter. We have a whole bunch of wonderful alumni down there as well. As you know, it's a thriving economy. We're giving even more opportunities to engage and connect. And speaking of these connections, I'm going on the Dean's Global Tour, which is fantastic to connect with alumni near and far. We're going to kick it off in San Francisco, and then we head, I think, to New York and London. We're going to Sao Paulo and Singapore, and what have I left off? Many places, Jakarta. Anyway, it's going to be really exciting, and I will be posting photos and let you know how it goes, but I can't wait to see all of our alumni out there in the world. Finally, we've done critical work to refine and elevate our brand. Some of you are in the field of marketing. You know how important it is not just to get the internal culture right, but to get the external brand right too, so that people know what we're about and what we're trying to do, what kinds of leaders we're trying to produce. And so our new Chief Marketing Officer, Joey Schmidt, and his team have done a remarkable job in developing this brand. We reached out to over 500 students, staff, faculty, alumni, community members to tell us what the school means to them. And what they came back with was essentially the idea that Haas represents the human edge of innovation to move business forward. That's the basic summary. And so the idea here is that in a world increasingly reshaped by algorithms and computer technology and global uncertainty, we develop leaders who combine analytical rigor, because you remember those classes, right? Analytical rigor with irreplaceable human capacity, creativity, judgment, authentic influence. And this human capacity combined with analytical rigor has exponential impact on business and society. That's where we think we can make a distinctive contribution. And so what I want to show you is what we call our sizzle reel, which is the summary of the brand. I got to tell you, well, I'll let you watch it, but I watch it at least twice a day, okay? It is so fun. Let's take a look.
You didn't settle for what is. You insisted on what could be.
Love that. I love it. Twice a day at a minimum. And it's on our webpage if you want to join me. So with that, let me turn to any questions that you have. What do you think? Did you see me on my bike? That was tricky to film, but so fun. What questions can I answer, please?
How many students are in the undergraduate program at Haas?
Yeah, so we just launched the 4-year speaker undergraduate program in fall of 24. So we have our second cohort. We have 500 students per year. So in the end, it will be 2,000. We're not quite there yet. We're getting close. Yeah, and they're thriving. I get to see them in their first semester as well, and I give them our Defining Leadership Principles lesson as well. The program is actually divided into the Global Management Program, which Ellie talked about, the MET program, which is a joint degree with Haas and the Engineering School, Management, Entrepreneurship, and Technology, 4% acceptance rate. It's really smart kids. We also have a joint degree program with biological sciences called the Robinson Life Science Business and Entrepreneurship Program. Also brilliant students. So there are sort of subgroups within each of those, but it's a really remarkable, thriving program. One of the hardest majors on campus to get into.
How about graduate students? How many years?
So we have, let's see, 600 in our full-time program across the two cohorts. We have about 1,100 in our evening weekend program. Is that right? 1,100. And then we have 140 in our executive MBA program, which is a 19-month residential program. The students come once a month for about 3 days, and they're all working professionals. So what does that add up to? Who are the actuaries in the room? Yeah, yeah. About 2,000 more. Yeah, please. Oh. Hi.
Oh, I was going to ask how the political environment is affecting our international students.
Yeah, that's a really, really important question. So how is the political situation affecting international students? So in our full-time MBA program, we have roughly 35-38% international students, which is something we really desire, right? It's a way of exposing our students to all kinds of cultural and business contexts around the world. And the students go on these incredible trips, too, led by their colleagues. At the beginning of this summer, we were very worried because all of the visa issues were in flux. And so we formed a task force, and we met pretty much every day. At the beginning of the summer, there were 90 students who had uncertain visa status. By the end of the summer, we had worked with them. We actually planned a whole course that they could take remotely if they couldn't get to campus on time. We had a professor on deck ready to do that. In the end, we only lost 3 students this year, and we didn't even need to offer the course because they were all able to get here on time. I can't promise that it's going to look the same next year. We are on sort of high alert, watching our international student population and ensuring that they get the message. We're really encouraging them. We have 3 rounds of admission applications. We really encourage our international students to apply in the first round so that they know their admission status as early as possible so that they can get working on their visa challenges. So I don't know how that's going to go in the future, but this year we did just fine. Yeah.
We have time for one more question in the back, I think.
Hi.
Hi. I was hoping you could explain how the Changemaker program has expanded and impacted the school business and the rest of the university.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on that program, but our faculty member, Alice Budak, is one of the leading instructors of the course, as well as one of our executive MBA graduates, Laura Hassner, who actually was my student. They have really developed an incredible portfolio of programs that includes a course, Talking Across Divides. I think at last count I heard Chancellor Lyons say that 3,000 students had signed up for those courses. So they're very popular, not just at Haas, but all around campus. I think we view them as a broad campus-wide orientation. The Changemaker course per se is certainly part of our curriculum. I think we have an orientation. I mean, what I try to share with each of our students when I meet them in the first term that they're here and give them their Defining Leadership Principles history lesson is our promise to them is that their experience at Haas will be a transformational experience in their life, a transformational experience. That's what we aspire for them to have. And that includes an orientation toward working beyond themselves, which implies leadership. Yeah, we can get you more information on that if that would be helpful. Thank you. Good. Okay, so I have another job here, which is to introduce some very special people. This year, Haas brought home the golden shovel at the 36th Annual Real Estate Challenge. For those of you who are unfamiliar, this is real estate's version of the big game, okay? It is against our rival, the school that shall not be named down the peninsula that rhymes with Banford, okay? What's great about this competition? Number one, bragging rights, okay? Number two, it represents the highest form of rigor that happens at Haas. Our students go head-to-head with the best out there, and they crushed it. Okay. Before I bring up one of our coaches to tell you more, I want to recognize some very special guests here today who helped bring home this success. First, my friend and colleague, Professor Nancy Wallace, the chair of the Real Estate Group, the co-chair of the Fisher Center of Real Estate and Economics. Under Nancy's formidable leadership, I don't even think she took the Changemaker course, right? She just knew how to do this. The Fisher Center has become, in my humble opinion, the most powerful real estate center across the world. Her scholarship and mentorship have shaped countless students and industry leaders. Nancy, thank you for everything that you do. Sitting to her right is the wonderful Bill Fallick. Bill is a stalwart of Haas Berkeley. He's been instrumental to our real estate program for many illustrious years. It's one of the best in the nation at preparing students to enter and lead in this field. Bill, your generosity and commitment is so incredible. Thank you so very much. It really means the world to us. And while everyone in this room is a VIP in my mind, we actually had, I guess, did Ben leave? Did he have to leave? Okay, well, he was there for a little while. Executive Vice Chancellor Ben Hermelin, who is also crushing it. He's sort of the second to Chancellor Lyons. Ben Hermelin holds a faculty appointment here at Haas. I was going to say all kinds of nice things, and hopefully he would, give us more resources. But he's doing a fantastic job. He's a great leader to me, leader and mentor to me, and so we'll thank him in his absence. So now I'd like to invite Abby Franklin, one of the coaches to our winning team, to come up and join us on stage. Abby's going to talk about her role as coach and to give you an overview of this illustrious competition. And after that, we're going to hear from the 4 students who brought home the shovel. Let's give them all a warm welcome. Thank you. And we need to do a Go Bears on 3, just for me, if you wouldn't mind. 1, 2, 3. Go Bears! All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jenny.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you. That was great. Well, hi, everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Jenny. And I am really excited to be here today to introduce, to talk about one of my favorite parts of my job here at Haas. I have the real privilege of being one of the coaches, along with my friend and colleague Bill Fallick, to coach the Golden Shovel Case Competition team. What is the Golden Shovel Case Competition team? As Jenny said, it is the big game of real estate for graduate students in the Bay Area. So this is a competition where 5 students from Cal and 5 students from Stanford get a case somewhere in the Bay Area that they are asked to redevelop. It's usually really complex, really naughty, and it's been in different markets such as Vallejo to Pleasanton to San Bruno to really anywhere in the Bay Area. And some example projects of years past have been redeveloping a wastewater treatment plant in San Jose, to redeveloping a Catholic school in Napa, to redeveloping the San Francisco produce market in San Francisco. So they really run the gamut, and each of our teams from Cal and Stanford is given this case in January and grapple with it for 4 months. Bill and I get the honor of working with this team for the whole time. We meet with them once a week, and they work tirelessly throughout the semester to come up with the highest and best use for this land that most often is better than the Stanford project, that's for sure. So anyway, you might be interested in the history of this. As this slide shows, it was created in 1990, and it was created by someone that you might be familiar with, at least some of you, someone named Steve Chamberlain, who's a developer, and also for many years was the professor of real estate development here at Haas. And he felt that in addition to the fabulous real estate curriculum, now headed by Nancy Wallace, that students would benefit from something that was very hands-on, very real-world, very tangible through a case competition that also, yes, had the essential element of competition to get them to really focus on something that might be similar to what they would do in the workplace. So the Golden Shovel competition was born in 1990 and has been going on now for 36 years. So you might wonder, how do we fare in this thing? We do really great. Out of the 36 times, we have won 21 times, and Stanford has won a mere 15. And that is a lot better than our big game record. Yeah. So that's pretty good. So I think I know we always have just a fabulous team, and the reason for our success is because of the students on the team. They are fantastic. We go through a very rigorous interview process, and they are absolutely superb. And I will introduce our team members from the winning 2025 team here in a minute. But one thing that I definitely want to underscore, especially with this team, not only do they exude the 4 Haas defining leadership principles individually, they do as a group too. And that stands out every year, really more so than Stanford. Our team has a very different vibe, and I think it really is because of our defining leadership principles. And you'll see those in action today in a moment. So let me now introduce our team. Here they are with the golden shovel that you might have seen when you walked in the room today. That's the big honor. So we have 4 of our 5 team members here today. First is Joe Wilson, right here. Woo! Before coming to Haas, Joe was a public finance investment banker, and he is wanting to go into real estate development, and no doubt he will be very successful. So that's Joe. Next to him, right here, is Kendon Rose, who is, yes, also an MBA student. And she, before coming to Haas, worked in strategy for the real estate giant Compass. And she, too, wants to go into real estate development, and I know she, too, will be very successful. After Kendon, we have Sarai Zhao, who is an architect by background, and just actually yesterday got an offer to work in the real estate group at TikTok. He may or may not accept that offer, but that's kind of a cool opportunity for him. And And last but not least is Ashley Garr, who is a structural engineer by background, and she will be going into investment banking at Wells Fargo in San Francisco upon graduation. So as you can see, we have a powerhouse team, and one common thread, in addition to all being just marvelous human beings and incredibly hard workers, is they're all very active members of BREC, which you might not know what that means. That's an acronym for the Berkeley Real Estate Club. And the reason I mention that is because it has something in common with this Golden Grads lunch. I learned before being generously invited to come to this today that the Golden Grads Alumni Luncheon is the oldest alumni event that Haas has, which is pretty special. And the Berkeley Real Estate Club is the oldest student club on campus as well. So I think that's a very nice linkage and makes this especially special for the team and for me and all of us involved in the Golden Shovel. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to the winning team from 2025 who will show you their winning presentation. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the show.
All right, what an absolute honor to be invited up here to speak to you guys today. This is going to be a fun journey for all of us. We're going to first start with some initial instructions and guidelines that helped us frame our thinking throughout the presentation. Then we'll dive into the presentation itself. So without further ado, this year's challenge was to design a proposal for the 2035 International Exposition to be hosted at Hunters Point and Candlestick Park. The site of Hunters Point and Candlestick, for those who don't know, with the wows from the crowd, we all might know where it is, but it is in the southeastern portion of San Francisco. The site is currently owned by the Navy and will at some point be transferred to the city. The city is planning to ground lease the site to 5 Point, which is the developer for the project. Our site sponsors are the San Francisco Chamber of Commerce and the Office of Community Investment and Infrastructure, formerly known as the Redevelopment Agency of San Francisco. The challenge main objective is to propose the permanent site infrastructure and associated funding for this project and a concept layout of 13 temporary pavilions for the exposition itself. And we'll also provide a vision and location for one permanent anchor pavilion that will be left as a lasting legacy of the International Exposition. And we'll also develop a post-exposition site plan that fulfills the site's long-term development objectives that have been agreed upon by the city. Additionally, the secondary objectives are to provide an open space programming that also develops the climate resiliency strategy. In addition, we'll also look at the site's connectivity with the San Francisco's String of Pearls, that is the parks system that envelops the entire city itself. And we'll also look at the interplay with the historic and art features on the site itself and how it benefits the community. And lastly, both teams do have strict guidelines that we must adhere to the following key assumptions, where there will be no changes to the Hunters Point Naval Shipyard land use plan, and will also state parkland will remain under control of the state. And that there will be no soil remediation proceeds prior to 2035, which we will maybe fudge a little bit. But that will conclude our overview, just to set the stage for y'all to understand what the challenge was all about and how we were, what parameters we're supposed to abide by. So with that, I'll now pass it off to the team and Kendon to start.
Connecting Worlds, Gateway to the Future. This is our proposed theme for the 2035 San Francisco World Expo, a promise to reposition San Francisco as the global stage for innovation and culture. I'd like to introduce you to our bid committee today. We have Ashley Garr, Saroy Zhao, and Joe Wilson, along with Dan Whalen, who has since graduated from the MRED program and was a part of our team. Together, we are the Campanile Collective, and we're incredibly excited to be partnering with the Chamber of Commerce and OCII to win the bid for this year's 2035 World Exposition. As we all watch in awe as the 2025 Osaka Expo begins in Japan, let us remember that San Francisco is no stranger to World Expos. We had the 1894 Midwinter Expo, which gave our city the Japanese tea garden, the 1915 Panama Pacific Expo, which gave us the Palace of Fine Arts, and the 1939 Golden Gate Expo, which gave us the creation of the entirety of Treasure Island. As we sit and ponder the incredible impact that these events have had on our beloved city, we can't help but wonder, what will be the lasting legacy of the 2035 San Francisco Expo? The good news is we're going to show you. Let us take you on a journey into 2035. You find yourself standing on the edge of a ferry deck. Your hands grip the railing. It's a crisp morning in mid-May of 2035. The sun is just starting to peek over the horizon, and ahead, the silhouette of San Francisco sharpens with every passing moment. Behind you, the SFO airport fades into the distance, and ahead, there's just 10 minutes of water between you and the shores of Hunters Point. The view ahead gets a little sharper, and you come upon what can only be appreciated in its full scale, the Gantry Crane Park. The ferry coasts into the terminal, and you can't help but bounce a little on your toes. If this is the welcome, you can only imagine what the rest of the expo has in store. Our theme, Connecting Worlds, Gateway to the Future, reflects a vision of global collaboration, innovation, and sustainability. We are living in an era of rapid technological advancements, strained global relations, and environmental challenges. And this expo will serve as a platform to bridge these divides and bring together people, ideas, and technology from around the world to envision and create a better future. You will see our theme come to life through our 6 main objectives of the expo. It will create world-renowned park space along the southeastern waterfront, as well as a new entrance to the city. As you enter Candlestick, coming off the 101, you will be welcomed by a string of parks that guide you through Candlestick and through Hunters Point up the eastern waterfront. The expo will create lasting infrastructure that not only supports the expo, but also the long-term development of Hunters Point and Candlestick communities. It will catalyze the creation of a robust ferry and transportation network that will connect Hunters Point to the rest of the Bay Area and transform regional mobility for decades to come. The expo will have a layout that connects a disjointed site with 13 temporary pavilions and 1 anchor pavilion. And last but certainly not least, the expo will lift up the local Bayview Hunters Point community that has been left behind for decades, both during the expo and into the future. These objectives, accomplished by our proposal, will leave Hunters Point with a lasting legacy. At 750 acres, Hunters Point and Candlestick will be the largest redevelopment opportunity in San Francisco history. That's larger than Mission Bay and Treasure Island combined. This expo allows us to put real pressure on the Navy to properly clean up the site, accelerating the redevelopment by up to 10 years. That means up to 11,000 new homes, 4 million square feet of office and life sciences space, 400 hotel rooms, and 330 acres of new park space that will redefine the southeastern waterfront. The economic benefits are just as real as the physical, with $12 to $15 billion of economic impact over the 6-month expo, fueled by local entrepreneurship, infrastructure development, hospitality, and tourism. Millions of people will be coming to this expo, seeing the new San Francisco, and changing the current reputation of our city. I will now welcome up my colleague Ashley, who will dive into the real details of the expo itself.
Thank you, Kendon. So I'm going to go through the transportation of the exposition. So let's all put on our seatbelts and get ready. With a peak of 300,000 daily visitors at this exposition, a large initiative must be undertaken to expand transportation that connects Hunters Point with the rest of the city to ensure smooth, efficient travel. Our proposal includes a build-out of multimodal transit that connects air, water, and land, offering flexible and scalable movement across the city and the site. As Kendon mentioned earlier, ferries will be a major transit option. An extended ferry system will have drop-offs at Candlestick, the Gantry Crane Park, and the Maritime Transit Terminal. The Maritime Transit Terminal is an adaptive reuse of a beloved existing structure on the Hunters Point site. It will be retrofitted and rehabilitated as a long-term transit hub, serving both Expo guests and the residents of the area. Alongside the ferries will be a new cruise ship docking station that can host up to 6,000 guests who wish to explore the Bay Area by water. The cruise ship is meant to actually work in tandem with hotels around the broader San Francisco area with the intention to support the local hospitality sector and encourage longer stays across the region. A central bus terminal will serve as a key drop-off point for autonomous vehicles, public transit, and offer shuttles from off-site parking. And for air travel, the Expo will lean on San Francisco innovations in flying taxis, or EV tolls, to offer fast urban air mobility between districts in the city. And running from Candlestick to the Gantry Crane Park, and ultimately to the Maritime Transit Terminal, there will be a gondola offering scenic, water crossing access, linking the Expo site together. The gondola will link this reinvigorated cultural hub to the Gantry Crane Park, where guests can enjoy the 360-degree views of San Francisco. And it will also connect to the Maritime Transit Terminal to provide seamless access for both residents and visitors to the central part of the Expo and to key transit areas. Now, Candlestick has a rich history of excitement and anticipation, from hosting the last Beatles concert in 1966, a day when the cost of a concert ticket was only $4.50, to the rise of the 49ers as they clinched a Super Bowl victory in 1982. This expo will reignite that passion and spirit with the introduction of an amphitheater that will bring back music, energy, and crowds to this iconic site. Now, the lasting infrastructure of the expo leans not only on transportation enhancements, but the resiliency of the site itself. The site will be designed as net zero, engineered for sea level rise, and will be surrounded by massive open space and parks that restore natural habitats. The climate resiliency initiatives are to raise the elevation of the site 24 inches in open space and at the shoreline, while increasing the grade at commercial and residential areas by 66 inches. Based on the 100-year sea level rise data, it's likely that a majority of Hunters Point will be underwater by 2100. To avoid such a devastation, a raising of the elevation is not precautionary, it's a necessity. The Hunters Point site has vast open space that will be converted into beautiful parks and outdoor experiences for guests to enjoy with the Bay Area weather and waterfront. These additional park spaces create part of an interwoven string of pearls that Joe had mentioned earlier that can now be easily accessed through a multitude of transportation options available to residents and expo visitors. The new Hunters Point open space will rival those of the surrounding Bay Area, instilling that same mix of expansiveness and inclusion within the community. Now, I'm going to hand it over to Saray, who will talk about the buzzing excitement that you will experience at the exposition.
Thank you, Ashley. Now, buckle up. I will take you on a tour around the whole pavilion in the expo. When visitors get off from the ferry, they will first walk into the corporate pavilion park. Between corporate pavilions, different pocket gardens are formed on different themes. One garden you see right here is themed around robotics. People engage in conversations with AI-powered robots, and nearby, visitors from all over the world use holograms to immerse themselves in the expo experience. The corporate pavilions not only attract visitors, but also spark interest from leading companies to sponsor and to showcase their latest technologies. As visitors make their way to the south end of the corporate pavilion park, they will arrive at the Gateway Link, a permanent pavilion that hovers above the dry dock. The Gateway Link stands at the heart of the expo. It is a monumental expo museum inspired by the Golden Gate Bridge, frame sculpture, and the Gantry Crane as a site. It is a gateway between culture and corporate parcels, framing the sky and the horizon, drawing visitors into a space where the past, present, and future converge. The Gateway Link has 60,000 square feet of gallery space and will continue to draw millions of visitors annually after the expo. Just like the Palace of Fine Art, the Gateway Link will become the new destination for San Francisco. As visitors make their way from north to the south, they can also take another route along the bay to explore the floating pavilions. The Net Zero Building Pavilion will demonstrate our commitment to sustainability issues such as climate change and sea level rise. After passing the Gateway Link and the floating pavilions, visitors will arrive at the Culture Pavilion parcel. Inspired by the redwood forest, the park was designed with the intention to let visitors to slow down, wander, and fully immerse themselves in the experience. The 1 mile of elevated pathway will take visitors to 10 different country pavilions. As visitors wrap up their journey through the culture parcel, they will arrive at the Gantry Crane Park, the world's largest high-rise park. The project reimagines the historical crane as a 3.5-acre urban oasis, hovering 350 feet above the ground. From this elevated park, visitors will enjoy uninterrupted parametric view of the bay, and this will be the new symbol for San Francisco. The park features 8 different activity zones, allowing visitors to fully enjoy all the benefits. At one corner, visitors can enjoy dinner and watching the sunset. At night, the park transforms into a lively concert venue. After exploring the Crane Park, visitors can return to the Central Park to take a little break. Since the Central Park will be the first to be built out, the Central Park was designed with the community in mind. It is a welcoming space for food trucks, small concert, and local gatherings. As visitors near the end of the expo journey, they will arrive as an artist in cave. The project wants to honor the legacy of the local artists. Therefore, the project will invite local artists to be part of the expo and display their artwork and sculpture on the site. Every element of the expo was carefully designed to meet community needs and to ensure a long-lasting legacy beyond the event. And that concludes our site tour today. Now, I will let Joe to talk about how to make it happen.
I see a lot of phones out. Tickets aren't going to be available for a while, so sorry. First, I need to talk about how it's going to happen. So with that being said, to bring our ideas from presentation to reality, we've identified a need of $2 billion across major capital sources to support the development of horizontal infrastructure, transportation, and climate resiliency efforts. First, identified as state grants. Next is federal grants. And then after that, we look at corporate participation in the form of commercial land sales and sponsorship of the expo itself. Fourth will be public financing, where community facility districts and tax increment financing will reimburse project costs. And for each of these buckets of capital, the expo and the lasting legacy brings alignment with the key objectives of each capital provider. And this alignment of priorities between the governmental agencies instills confidence that Hunter Point can be delivered in 2028, 8 years sooner than the expected conveyance date from the Navy. And the expo will be the prevailing wind to accelerate government action. And as next steps, we will engage with sponsors, government officials, community members, and company leadership from the companies who we've received the letters of interest from and talk about their stake in the 2035 Expo and well beyond that. And as demonstrated, our proposal has bold ideas for the 2035 San Francisco Expo. So it is important to highlight how our ideas create lasting legacies and sustainable impact in each community. So first, we should look at the broader Bay Area region, where the Expo will establish Hunters Point as the central node of the innovation ecosystem, hosting key industries like energy, mobility, technology, and health. And as a gateway to the future, Hunters Point will be the platform connecting communities across the Bay. Then, for the city of San Francisco, this is the moment to show the world that San Francisco is the leading place where innovation uplifts everyone and public-private partnerships deliver economic opportunities, much-needed housing, better health outcomes, and climate resiliency. And lastly, and most importantly, in the Bayview Hunters Point community, new infrastructure creates a blank slate for attainable housing, living wage jobs, and new public spaces. This project is not just for the visitors of the Expo, but for the families who have called this place home. In alignment with the proposed Expo theme, Connecting Worlds, Gateway to the Future, a better future can become a reality for Bayview Hunters Point residents who can otherwise feel worlds away from the prosperity, education, and opportunities of the broader Bay Area. And as a cornerstone to the proposal, workforce development efforts will be focused on attracting diverse corporate entities, educational and vocational programs that offer apprenticeship and certifications. And no other initiative besides the Expo can be as an effective catalyst to attract these jobs and create these educational opportunities for residents. So therefore, the commercial development will serve as a dual purpose as commercial pavilions during the exposition and the foundation for long-term tenancy at Hunters Point for these companies. And these participating companies will be the lucky ones that get to shape the city of the future. And as a blank slate, the model city of the future will be built at Hunters Point as a lasting legacy of the 2035 World Exposition. And just as important as workforce development is, also is housing production. The acceleration of land development at Hunters Point in preparation for the Expo will also accelerate the creation of walkable communities and much-needed housing. Anchored by the awe-inspiring public amenities like the Gateway Link Museum, innovation hubs, and the many acres of versatile open space, and of course, the Gantry Crane Park, where we've transformed the historic Gantry Crane Gantry Crane into the world's largest high-rise park, becoming a global icon and a symbol of innovation for San Francisco. So to wrap it all up, we began this proposal with a bold vision to deliver a world exposition that uplifts communities, increases opportunity, and expands our mind and reflects the very best of San Francisco and the Bay Area. This is a generational investment in housing, in health, in jobs, and in people. Together, through our proposal, we have turned ambition into alignment and alignment into action, exceeding the Expo objectives and leaving a lasting legacy of the 2035 SF Expo at Hunters Point Naval Shipyard. So to close, we want to thank you all for being here today at the Golden Grads Reunion Luncheon, and also to the team, and to Bill and Abby and Nancy as well. So thank you all. All right, we'll open up some questions now. I see some hands raised over here. Okay, we'll start in the back.
How are you handling multi-generational residential and commercial? How are you handling so it's self-contained in that area? How are you handling the environment for greening? And then what are you doing for health and safety in terms of the police and that type of thing there, and security?
Are you from Stanford? So to take a quick whack at it, the way we thought about it is the partners that are involved. You have 5 Point, who's a developer, who's working closely with the OCII, which is the Office of Community Investment and Infrastructure, who's really leading the project. And those two will work hand in hand. They have a development agreement that honestly contemplates all of those same things and understands how the property taxes will flow to be able to support the future needs and services of the area itself. With that being said, the commercial and residential developments, those will be controlled by the 5 Point, the developer, who will basically own the site and be able to bring in other developers to support that sort of project after the expo has been completed.
And more mundane, where's the pipeline with the wind going to be?
That's a great question. Maybe we can talk about that. We have some LOIs, you can hop in there too.
where are you going to connect up with public transit such as BART or Muni or any of those?
So we'll have drop-off stations at the exposition where public transit can come in and drop people off directly at the expo site. And then we're leaning on new innovation, so then there'll be other accesses that are outside of that as well. But we're going to work very hard with public transit to make sure that whoever wants to get to the expo can get to the expo.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, all right, and see. Two-part question. One is your housing. Is that going to upgrade existing housing, or is that going to be brand new housing, so to speak? And then that's one part. Second part, those ideas you have for improving education and for workforce development skills, or those things are very practical. Are you planning on integrating those with existing high schools and community colleges, or is that going to be brand new capabilities in that community center you showed up there?
You can take the first one.
Okay, so the first question around housing. So there are existing housing developments going up around the site that we showed you earlier with the map. Our prompt was to deal with the land that is not being currently developed. And so when we talked about housing post-expo, we're talking about brand new housing in that area. And then in terms of the question on workforce development, we had the pleasure of visiting the community program that works with Hunters Point and does workforce development right now. So it was basically like the community development program. So we went down to their headquarters in Hunters Point and talked about workforce development and what they're doing now. The intention is to build on what already exists, not to create new things.
Just to quickly add on that, with the expo, this will be a 6-month period that people will be able to train and be able to bring in employers that can actually bring people that are from that community into the expo and train them during that period. And we were working with the Southeast Community Center that is doing a lot of work now and has shown interest in doing that later.
We have time for one more question.
Okay. I see that you incorporated public transportation and flying taxis, but I didn't see anything related to the San Francisco International Airport. They're very interested in innovative ideas. They're wonderful at incorporating small businesses and trying out projects. How will you connect with the SFO? They've got money. It would be an oversight not to bring them in early.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And I think, looking at the multimodal phasing of transportation, a lot of that comes down to how do you serve the need of the most people. And so, public transportation will be the thing that really helps support the need. And also one thing we didn't mention was the ferry system. San Francisco has the privilege of being on the bay, and ferries have been a long form of transportation, so that's a way to transport a lot of people. And then with the water taxis as well, we see that as opening an avenue to SFO and being able to be more of a direct line from southeast part of San Francisco to SFO that avoids the highway that sometimes can be crowded.
I recommend giving them the opportunity to weigh in early, and again, they are an enterprise department, not the others, not the other departments. The Muni and others are looking for money. SFO has money, and they've got great people, so incorporate them early.
I like that. Awesome. Thank you. Awesome. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.
Once again, thank you to the Golden Shovel team for such an inspiring presentation, as well as, another round of applause for beating Stanford. Now, I know we promised wine and music, so I can't think of a better way to conclude today's luncheon than with the California Jazz Choir, who will sing a few Cal-spirited songs, finishing with Hail to California. The lyrics to our alma mater song are in your program, so we welcome you to sing along. And please join me in welcoming the California Jazz Choir.
This is just a little samba built upon a single note. Other notes are bound to follow, but the root is still that note. Now this new one is the consequence of the ones we've just been through. As I'm bound to be the unavoidable consequence of you. Eis aqui este sambinha, feito numa nota só. Outras notas vão entrar, mas a base é uma só. Esta outra consequência do que acabo de dizer. Como eu sou a consequência inevitável de você. Quanta gente existe por aí que fala tanto e não diz nada, ou quase nada. Já me utilizei de toda a escala e no final não sobrou nada. Não deu em nada, e voltei pra minha nota. Como eu volto pra você, vou cantar com a minha nota. Como eu gosto de você. É quem quer todas as notas, e mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. Fica sempre sem nenhuma, fica numa nota só. This is just a little samba, built upon a single note. Other notes are bound to follow, but the root is still that note. Now this new one is the consequence of the one we've just been through. As I'm bound to be the unavoidable consequence of you. There are many people who can talk and talk and talk and still say nothing, or nearly nothing. I have used up all the skills I know, and at the end I've come to nothing, or nearly nothing. So I come back to my first note, as I must come back to you. I will pour into that one note all the love I feel for you. Anyone who wants the whole show, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. He will find himself with no show. Better play the one you know.
Thank you. We are the Cal Jazz Choir. We're super excited to be here for another Haas Golden Grads event. We have 2 more songs for you. If you like what you hear and you want to hear more, we have our semester concert this Friday, actually, in Morrison Hall. If you know where that is, it's on campus. You can find more information for that on our Instagram, Cal Jazz Choir.
Shadows fall and spread.
touch of your hand is like heaven, a heaven that I've never known. The blush on your cheek whenever I speak tells me that you are my own. You fill my eager heart with such desire. Every kiss you give sets my soul on fire. I give myself in sweet surrender. My one and only love, my love, my one and only love. You are my one and only, one and only love.
Thank you, everybody. That was My One and Only Love by John Coltrane and Johnny Hartman. Our last song will be Hail to California. As was said, the lyrics are on the back of your program. If you'd like to sing along with us for the first verse, but then we will go ahead and take it from there. Thank you. All right. And please stand if you would like. Only if you would like.
You almost tuned to the ringtone there.
Hail to California, alma mater dear. Sing the joyful